Hey, Joe. With Josh yesterday, he talked about it after the game, how he felt that he was beating you guys in the first half. A couple decisions there, costing you points. And then you fast forward to the fourth quarter, and it's just this superhero show. The 3rd and 13 is obviously the play that stands out. What's it like balancing him as a player? You've been around him now for 2 years when you have these moments where he could just do so much, but balancing against some of the times where maybe you wish he wouldn't try to make some of these plays.
Yeah, I mean, I think look, at all times you just have to trust them, right? There's just like any quarterback, right? They're not going to be perfect, right? And sometimes, some of the decisions that might not turn out too well, there's times where, they end up turning out the touchdowns, and sometimes you can get praised for it. But to me, it's more about, is it the right decision and correcting it regardless of the results. And so, look, like last night there was, I thought he threw the ball and, mechanically was probably one of the best games he's played from that standpoint, right? But then when you make decisions, when you turn the ball over, especially in the red zone, which is something he's done such a great job this year of, making good decisions down there. And so, but I knew in the game on the line in the fourth quarter, keep the ball in his hands, and he was going to make us right. That's part of his greatness. And so regardless of how things go the first 3 quarters, when we got Josh Allen, we always have a chance, and just trusting him, regardless of how anything else is going, that he's going to find a way.
He's been very critical, as he always is, of his own game, but specifically the last couple of weeks in that, like the way he's been throwing the ball. Like he said last game, I just didn't throw the ball well today. And then he mentioned after this last game, that was the best he felt throwing the ball at the end of that game. Have you seen that? Is there anything happening in practice, or what do you think has led to him kind of working his way through that period?
Yeah, I mean, I think just in general, when you go through a full season and, you're taking certain hits or, your body's not feeling just as perfect as it was at the beginning of the year. Sometimes some of the mechanics or the fundamentals, you might start overcompensating for some things. And just like a great golfer or, a quarterback, they have an understanding of how it feels. And, hey, what, my lower body's not feeling like it normally does. And sometimes you try to overcompensate for it. And he has a great understanding of, his mechanics and his form and what he needs to do and kind of, change when he needs to based upon how he's feeling or, potential some injuries or whatnot. And, but I thought he spun the ball great in practice this past week. So there was no surprise seeing him pregame. And, like he said, at the end of the game, how he was kind of dialed in and throwing to it. And, I was pleased to see it.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Okay, Joe, Mark Gahn from the Buffalo News. Thanks for joining us. A couple quick ones. One, just the 3rd and 13 run. Just your assessment of that play.
I mean, it's obviously why I called it. No, look, I mean, that's part of his greatness, right? He's a human eraser, right? He makes plays that, shouldn't be anything to normal quarterbacks, and he finds a way to get it done. And, you sit there and it's, people are touching him and there's 8 yards to go and he finds a way to get the first down. I mean, that's who he is. That's why we are in the position that we are, right? You got a quarterback like that at any given moment, man, he can put the team on his back and find a way to get it done. And just see the personality after that. I mean, that's Josh Allen, man. And that excited me, just seeing that after. And when he's playing like that, when he's locked in like that, I mean, he's tough to beat.
You guys finished the season #1 in the NFL in 3rd down conversions. It's a kind of a big subject, big question. You could talk for 20 minutes about that, but just, what stands out about, obviously that's a crucial part of the game. And what do you think are a couple of quickly factors that allowed you to be so successful?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is 1st and 2nd down efficiency, right? It's, you try to stay out of 3rd downs, but if you do get into 3rd downs, the more manageable, the better, right? You get some 3rd and 1s or, it's a lot easier to convert 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 11. And then, when you get in those positions and you're not in the favorable ones, it starts with the protection up front. And I think the offensive line has done an incredible job, just Josh being on the same page, being able to pick up the pressures and the stunts and the blitzes, and Josh being able to, find the open guys. And so staying on schedule always obviously helps the confidence up front, the guys blocking, which they've done a great job all year. And then, Josh pulling the trigger, finding the opening guy. usually, and if all that fails, he finds a way to kind of get it done like the third and long like yesterday.
Perfect. Yeah. And just real quick, it's so easy to watch the game for fans and media and say, well, look, this guy was open here, that guy was open there, and the quarterback is the one who's got to do that. On the second interception, the one where it was fourth down, so, he figured I might as well throw it. But did you think Kincaid was open on the first look to the left? Or is that the quarterback's in the pocket and he's got to make an instantaneous decision?
Yeah, look, I think I'm up in the box probably with you guys. So my initial inclination is, hey man, hey, can we just spit that out to the flat? Get Dalton. You got a nice low rub route. Khalil did his job. And you think you get exactly what you're kind of hoping for, but then you got the clicker, watching on TV or whatnot, and then you put yourself in Josh's position. Sometimes it's, you know what, I just lost him behind the left tackle, or I just didn't see it. And so, that's the realness that comes with the position of, especially as a coach, sometimes watching the tape is it's like, oh, hey, that guy's open, but we don't see that. Hey, I lost him behind the offensive line, or, I just lost the DB for a second. I didn't trust throwing that. And so there's so much that kind of comes with it. So would I have loved for him to, see that, Khalil did his job, but look, I don't want him to force anything. If he doesn't trust it, go try to make a play. And obviously when we get into that situation, not forcing the ball up in the end zone, but yeah, no, that's part of playing the quarterback is, that, kind of losing the guy initially.
All right. Thanks for explaining that.
Hey, Joe, on the series to take the lead, Josh was 5 of 5, and including the touchdown pass to Dawson. What is it about Josh in those moments where, late in the game, he's able to dial it in when maybe earlier in the game things haven't been as smooth?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of it's Josh Allen knowing that as long as he has the ball in his hands, good things, have the opportunity that good things can happen, and that I have the trust in him, and that the guys have the trust on the sidelines that no matter what's happening the whole game, as long as we have an opportunity and we have the ball, with Josh Allen, great things can happen, and he showcased that, right? We had a lot of drives that ended up with no points, right? And it can be frustrating, but we've been saying all year that there's power in the way that we've been closing out some of these games and finishing, and that it doesn't have to be pretty, and there's going to be adversity. And we kind of faced that a little bit. Our defense obviously did an incredible job, but when we needed Josh to kind of put together a string of big plays, man, he got it done, and the guys made plays with it, and it was a lot easier to call from that perspective.
Thanks.
Coach Brady, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, man, great balance out there. 38 passing attempts to about 37 rushing attempts. Diggs, Kincaid, Sherfield, Shakir, those guys are, all involved in the offense there. How can you remain consistent with that attack, having that type of balance for Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it's you'd love to be balanced all the games, but all I'm focused on is finding the way to win, right? And if it's Steph Diggs getting 20 targets, if it's Dalton Kincaid getting 20 targets, if it's someone getting no targets and we're running the ball the whole game, like we got to find the way to win, and we got to make the adjustments if we're not getting that to to that point and going to halftime and figure out, hey, what's it going to take? And I was pleased with the way that the guys in the second half kind of responded to some of the looks that we were getting and kind of the adjustments, and just so happened it kind of worked out that quote unquote the balance kind of played out like that. But I was just pleased with some of the guys stepping up, right? Gabe goes out, and Trent Sherfield and Khalil, and getting Dawson back going, and Dalton. It was pretty easy to kind of call plays last night, knowing that all the guys were kind of doing their job.
Coach, one more if I can. Last night, Miami was sending out all-out blitzes. Is that something that you're going to be, more aware of going into this playoffs? Because, it is a copycat league, and, it seemed like, they kind of caught on, some tough situations with those all-out blitzes where, was that something you'll work on this week in practice?
Yeah, it's something we've been getting for, past 5-6 weeks, right? And, Josh has obviously made good decisions as we kind of go with it. And, we just some things to clean up protection-wise, making sure that we're all kind of working to the same guy and, we're all on the same page. But, it's something that if teams want to bring it, we feel comfortable. We feel comfortable with them bringing it and Josh having the answers.
Absolutely. One more, Coach. Leonard Fournette, your thoughts on his play, especially with Johnson going out with the concussion there?
Yeah, no, I'm pleased with Leonard, right? And this is why we brought him here, right? It's he's a big time player, and being able to continue to get going as these playoffs get rolling, and pleased with his mindset and his work ethic. When he wasn't able to play, and just knowing that his opportunity was going to come and go in there, and obviously getting some certain carries or certain plays that he might not even have repped in practice. That might have been for Ty or for Jimbo, and him going in there and not blinking, and kind of speaks to who he is as a player and a person, and obviously continue to working with him.
Absolutely, Coach. Hey, congrats on the division. New season, bigger prize at stake. Good luck this week.
I appreciate you.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on the win, first of all. And, Trent, the touchdown catch he has to play a bunch of snaps coming in for Gabe, obviously. I talked to him after the game in the locker room, and he said, it hasn't been the easiest year for him, not playing as much as he'd like to, but he has to obviously work just as hard as he would every week if he's going to be the guy. And then he has to show up and perform in that moment. Can you take us into what it's like for a guy like that preparing every week who's not necessarily the starter, who you don't know if he's, just a twisted ankle away from going in, and that balance of your communication with them to stay ready for their opportunity when it comes, even if it hasn't come the way they wanted to so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, right? It's the reality. Is when you're Steph Diggs or you're Gabe Davis, like, hey, I know I'm in on these plays, I have these plays, and yes, Trent has tagged plays where we know he's going to be in, and he has to obviously master and be ready for those plays. But that's what kind of comes with when you're not like the quote unquote like number one wide receiver starters. You got to be ready to play every role. And I come into the locker room yesterday, and Trent's on his iPad just kind of going over the pass routes one more time. I remember walking up to him and just seeing him do that, and to see him. Obviously not the circumstances that we wanted, obviously with Gabe, but boom, he goes down there, and I have full confidence that Trent's going to be able to make plays, and seeing him make that play in the end zone. And yeah, it might not have been the season that he wanted, but it speaks to who he is and his work ethic and his approach that his opportunity finally came and he made the most of it. And he took a lot of plays, a lot of reps that he has not repped on the last few weeks, just because Gabe or Steph or whatnot, and he didn't blink. I'm so proud of him. And it speaks to the type of team we have, but the type of men that we have. And it's when they're playing for one another and they understand that, hey, it's not about just me and me embracing my role. And he's a guy that's embraced his role and understands whatever he has to do to win, he's going to do. And that's kind of what guys like him is why we're in the position we are.
And when you have things go wrong, like you did early in the game, the red zone turnovers, the turnover, you're down 14-7, you left a lot of points on the board. You feel like you should have cashed in. When you have a play like Deontay has, the 96-yard punt return, I mean, I don't want to, with all due respect, call it a bailout to give you guys an extra lift there. But what is that like for an offense to kind of change the script a little bit to know, okay, despite all this, here we are with a tie game?
No, I mean, it was awesome. Like Deontay's had, look, two of the biggest plays of the year. He caught the big deep over against Kansas City on the third down. On this punt return, and look, we were ready to go. I felt full confidence that we get the ball, we're going to go down the field and score. And Deontay just made it a lot easier for us. And it's you see him kind of backpedal, and you're like, whoa, and then next thing you know, he's out. And another guy just like Trent, right? That might not have, the opportunities might not have come his way that he might have planned, but didn't blink. And when the light shined the brightest, he came out and he made a huge play. And so I'm thankful for it. It made life a little easier for us, but so proud of him.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Joe. I was curious about Dalton Kincaid. First of all, just where have you seen him grow the most this year over just kind of the course of the season?
Yeah, I mean, we all know the type of athlete he is and the savviness, but just when you watch him just from a route running standpoint, is just understanding how the coverage is and how people are defending him and being able to find the soft spots. I mean, that's not easy to do. I think we all just assume, you draft a guy in the first round that they're just going to be able to plug and play and his life is going to be good. But, some of the things that he's doing is not something that a rookie should be able to do. Just being able to just continue to get him going and showing that his toughness, whether in the run game, that he'll be able to get in there and do whatever he has to do to kind of get it done. And when you watch Dalton Kincaid play, he is around the football every single snap. Like, he plays the way that football's supposed to be played. He's the first guy picking guys up. He's around the football just in case there's a turnover. He's chasing, he's running. And so he's a special player that, you know, is going to be special for many years here. And just seeing a rookie be able to do what he does is pretty impressive.
What about from a personality standpoint? He's sometimes a little quieter with us, but it seems he's come out of his shell more and more to y'all. Just what has it been like watching that journey?
Yeah, I mean, I've loved it because, you know, you see the guy, you know, he's a quiet guy, and then you go on the field and it's kind of, you know, he's a different animal. I love it when he kind of gets on the guy's face and talks a little bit, and I don't know what he says or what he does, but you know, it's kind of what makes him him, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot seeing him kind of flip the switch, but you know, he's confident on game days, but he puts in so much work throughout the week in his approach, and I think it allows him to go out there and have the success that he's having, and he's a big part of our success.
Awesome. Thanks.
Hey, Joe, what challenges do you guys have to be ready for when facing a Steelers defense?
I can go on, you know, just obviously just getting going with them right now, but I mean, they do so much well. They take the ball away at an extremely high level. They get after the quarterback, a lot of sacks. They take the ball away in the red zone, and they're one of the best teams at the end of the halves. You know, fourth quarter, they don't give up a lot of points, and that's something that, especially in the postseason, that's critical. And so it's going to be an extreme, you know, it's going to be a huge opportunity, a big challenge for us. But you know, as we get going, but we're excited for it. This is exactly where we wanted to be, and I know we know we're going to get everything from them, and I hope that they get the same for us.
Thanks.
Hey, Joe, how has Khalil Shakir evolved into such a reliable and trusted target, and to the point where Josh throws the ball his way, it's almost always a catch and something good happens?
You know, Khalil just does his job, you know, and there's so much power to that, right? Like, you know exactly where he's going to be, and that accountability as a quarterback to, I can take my drop, I can get my eyes away, and I know when I come back to that read, boom, he's going to be there, and I can pull the trigger almost without even seeing, you know, and just knowing he's going to be there. And for a quarterback, that is huge. And you know, he's so dependable. He makes great plays, and then put the ball in his hands. He does a great job with rack, as you saw last night when he caught that little bubble. And just when you do everything the right way, you know, good things usually happen. And that's him. And you know, he's embraced it. You know, he's done such a great job of just continuing to evolve in his route running and his understanding of how kind of things play out here. And you know, he has Josh Allen's trust, and that's huge.
Thanks, Joe.
Yes, good afternoon, Coach Brady, George Redney, Challenger Community News. And my question for you on with Hardy, with his speed on, especially displayed that speed on the punt return, any consideration for implementing him more into the offense, like jet sweeps and things of that nature, Coach?
Yeah, I think, look, every week we kind of get together and we figure out, hey, what's it going to take to beat this team in terms of, hey, what do we think matchups are versus these guys, or you know, strengths and weaknesses. And so, you know, I think everything's all on the table, and we know what kind of speed Hardy has, and you know, we know the impact that he can have on offense given the opportunities.
Yes, the last question on Sherfield. He seems to, can you tell a little bit more about him and his, it looks like he runs really precise routes. Can you give us a little more information on his route running ability and so forth?
Yeah, sure. You know, Trent's another guy that kind of does, you know, just continues to just do his job at an extremely high level. And like I said before, it's really tough when you're not a starting wide receiver you have to be ready to go in at a blink and play basically every position. And that's something that he does, and he does at a high level when he's in there. And, you know, I know had a couple opportunities this past week that, you know, against New England that we didn't cash in on. And, but it just kind of shows the confidence that we have in him, and, you know, and that, hey, given the opportunity, he's going to make the most of it. I was glad to see that kind of come to light last night.
Yeah, that's what part of it with his route running, and then all of a sudden he made the adjustment and was able to make that touchdown catch.
Yeah, no, that's huge, and he does so much in the run game as well. Like, again, you know, our guys are receive all the skill guys. I mean, the offense has embraced hey, we're going to be selfless. We're going to whatever we got to do to win the football games, and it's going to change from game to game, and that's part of why we've had success. And a guy like Trent Sherfield is the epitome of that, and comes in, his approach, his work ethic, you know, how he takes care of his body, how he kind of mentors and kind of works with the other wide receivers, how he stays after practice. You know, it's hard when the year that he's had, But he doesn't change. That doesn't change. His mindset hasn't changed. And an opportunity like that kind of, when he makes the most of it, as a coach, man, it was fun to see. I'm so happy for him.
Thank you so much for your time. Good luck this coming Sunday.
Appreciate you.